All right, let's go. Ayo, we're three hot guys sharing our opinions because we're special and different. Gold medals, we're winning. Can't help it if we're burdened by our intellect. You can play checkers while we pretend we know the rules to chess. The council has spoken, and we are the chosen. Your nose is broken because I broke
And
it.
welcome back to another episode of Will of the Council. We've got Jordan in the booth.
Not what he sounds like.
We've got Danny inside the halls of Arkham Asylum.
Come one, come all.
And of
See
course, we've
my
got
movie.
Becky on the ones and twos. How are you guys feeling today? Would you consider yourself a little bit
I'm
Joker-fied?
feeling a little silly, you know. I'm feeling like
I don't even know what riff to choose. I'm like, should I say society? Should I say like, oh, this
iPhone Venezuela.
Venezuela?
You know, I do have to ask, of course, why so serious? You know, boom.
Yeah.
Why so serious?
Okay, so we're talking about Joker 2. I'm gonna be a Joker, you're a Joker too. In case you guys are unfamiliar, Joker 2, Folie à Deux, has
Why do they
released
call it
in
that?
American theaters to the tune of $200 million that it cost to make. I believe it's made about $35 total.
Yeah, and marketing was, I think, $100 million.
Good. That's what I like to. You know what? Actually, I'm looking at it. Budget $200 million. You know how much it's made back already? $115.
Really?
So,
That's actually
I
surprising.
mean, like,
That's not.
it is of course bombing, but
Yeah.
you know, on the scale of bombing, that's not a real Joker bomb. You
we've
know, that's
talked
maybe
about
like the
worse
Penguin.
bombs. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the
Okay,
worst
it's
bombs on the
no
show.
Herald. There's no purple crayon. Let's just say.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a post-credit scene where like the new Joker shows up and he goes, "Do you want to know how I got these scars?" And he pulls out a purple crayon and draws them on him.
Yeah.
So Joker 2 stars Dan Henschel, who asks the hard question, what if the Joker were orange and blue?
Ooh.
So I guess I don't know if we're going to spoil much of it, but we are going to talk about it as a
haven't watched
phenomenon.
it.
So if you're unfamiliar with Joker, in 2019, The Joker came out, and it was a comic book movie that really felt like it had escaped from a universe much better than our own, where like, instead of just schlock being shoveled out every couple of months by, you know, the Zack Snyder extended universe and like James Gunn's Dog, instead we were getting lovingly crafted, thoughtful takes on these properties that were, for the most part, kind of divorced from the world of the comic book, right?
Right.
Danny and I, we went to see Joker.
Yeah.
It was like the last thing we saw before COVID happened.
Yeah.
And I really did like it.
I liked
think
it.
that
I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
there was this like media campaign where like it looked like like every news agency on earth was like hoping that it would inspire a mass shooting or something.
Oh
Yeah, I
my
don't know
god,
what
I
the fuck
forgot
that was
about that.
That was
It was
so
crazy.
weird.
They were like, this movie's too dangerous. It'll red pill too many incels and they'll shoot everyone. And I was like, this is a movie about Batman. Like, I don't think- But it was really good. Joaquin Phoenix, really good in it. It was, I liked it a lot. I thought it was nice. The one criticism I had is the scene everyone remembers, you get what you fucking deserve.
Yeah.
For some reason, he talks like a normal person in that scene.
Yes.
Every other scene, he has like debilitating social anxiety. And then for that single scene, he's like, you know what? Actually, I've decided I'm going to talk like a green text. And it is kind of like, you know, be me, Murray invites me on show. But I will say, it clearly what happened is they built that scene and then they tried to make the movie around it, like that kind of thing. But I really did like where it ended up. I thought it had some interesting things to say. I think a lot of people treated it as a little too smart. You know, it was
that's
good,
true.
but it wasn't like,
Right.
it wasn't Criterion Collection, like goated movie 2027. It was a lot closer to Dark Knight 2008 than like, you know, the fucking Seven Samurai or anything, right?
Yeah, it is what we can call it. It's an interesting take on like what was previously a kid's property. You know, it's like, you know, Batman typically had some dark themes and stuff, and it's just like a nice modernization of a story through line in the property, right? Like that's what it is, you know?
So I don't know if you had been following the press regarding Joker 2.
No,
So
not at all.
Not really.
Joker 1 came out, for better or for worse, in a different world than we live now.
Yes.
It
Right.
is pre-COVID. It represents the kind of bubbling anxiety that everyone was having before COVID really heightened the contradictions, you know, and I think this sort of just residual energy that I don't think the Joker caused, but was a reflection of that type of feeling among people, is responsible for like a lot of the sweeping changes that happened in the wake of COVID, you know? And now, after 1 million people died, and, you know, we had like a really come to Jesus moment about like our political system, we just live in a different world. And so when I heard the Joker 2 was still happening, I was like, oh, good. Because you can't make Joker 2 the way you would make Joker 1. It would come out and everyone would be like, this is hackneyed shit. You know, I don't give a fuck. So instead, we were told early on it would co-star Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, which, by the way, huge fan of Lady Gaga, huge fan of her acting career. I think she's a very, very talented individual. Yep. Then we heard it would be a musical.
It sounded like a joke, right? Like, it sounded like someone was playing a prank on me.
But then they kept making it.
You've just hit me with a 2-ton truck. I did not know this.
Oh, sir.
Dude.
Oh, man. Well, allow me to Jokerify you.
Yes, please.
You smell that? That's the Joker gas.
Me neither. Start farting.
Okay, so Joker 2 is a jukebox musical. In it, Lady Gaga and Arthur Fleck as the Joker sing a bunch of songs. And it rocks. I'm sorry, hearing this the first time, I was like, this is so good. One thing that really upsets me about, I mean, I'm sure you've all seen the tweet that's like, big organizations like Marvel and Disney are now hiring like fan focus groups to tell them like what the fans want in these movies. Yeah. And it makes me feel like we're just going to get like cape shit schlock until the end of time. No one will take any risks in a big budget movie. So hearing what I can only describe as the riskiest sentence I've ever heard, which is we're following up our $1 billion Joker like prestige movie with a fucking musical starring Lady Gaga. I mean, I'm excited personally.
Yeah. It's so funny because it is almost the polar opposite of what we're like, oh no, they're gonna like look at super fans, like a hard swing to the other direction.
This one was designed to please nobody.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which I'm so happy to hear. So real quick, I'll just let you know, Joker 2 won an award before it came out for the most anticipated movie at the Astra Mid-Season Movie Awards, which I have to agree with. It has not won an award since. And that is because on release, it was widely panned as a piece of fucking shit.
I don't know. I have a hard time with movies and in general.
Me too, dude. I don't know where to click play.
Subway Surfers.
Where's the DVD?
It's just like, why are they getting so bad? Like,
well, okay,
it's weird.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Joker 2 is bad in a way that movies aren't. Like, the movies that are bad and like just like annoying ass by the numbers garbage, you know, those are one thing. This movie is staggering in its ambition, and you really, just like Icarus's dad, you know, he was very sad that his kid plummeted to his death, but at the same time, he must have been thinking in the back of his head, damn, that shit was cool as fuck. Damn, I almost thought he was going to make it there for a second. That's nuts.
That's crazy.
So people hate it, both critically and audience-wise. It's been pretty clearly panned. I will give you some small spoilers. These shouldn't tamper your enjoyment of the film. It takes place entirely within a courtroom. Almost with like
weird
Family Guy style cutaways to like other stuff that's happening, you know, chronologically away from the courtroom. The plot itself it's really bad. It's not good at all. It's awesome. It's not great. Lady Gaga does this thing, which I'm sorry is a good decision, and kind of teaches herself to unsing. Because like if she sounds like Lady Gaga singing in an asylum, she's gonna sound stupid.
Sure.
So she changes, she like unlearned some stuff so she could sing like crap in the movie proper. But as a result, you have to sit through some songs that sound like crap.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. There's an animated section at the beginning that unfortunately
What?
it writes a lot of checks the movie can't cash. You watch the animated section and you go, damn, is this actually going to be really good? The answer, no, it is not.
Okay.
I beseech you, dear viewer, even if you haven't seen Joker 1, you don't need to. Please go watch this fucking movie. It's so strange.
Wait, should
it's
we
so,
watch it? Like, I haven't seen it.
Yes, dude, we gotta go see it.
Oh, dude, there's no way. Like, it's crazy because I don't know. I have so much little trust, like Jordan was saying earlier. So many movies have been terrible recently. You know, Harold and the Purple Crayon, Minecraft movie.
I mean, that was my most anticipated movie of the year. Was
no, it
Harold
wasn't.
and the Purple Crayon.
Borderlands. Like, there's just a slew of just utter garbage recently. I don't know. It's so strange. And of course, Joker 2 comes alongside it. This is the one we see. Like, I'm in.
It's just it's so hard. Sometimes bad movies are bad in a way where they're like charmingly bad, right? Like everybody knows The Room. You know, everybody's had a fucking bottle night with their friends and they go watch The Room together. You know, I've had like 5 of those. But so many movies lately are bad in a way that it's just like, damn, what a waste of time. I could have done my laundry.
I could be jerking off right now.
Yeah,
I will go on record and say this movie is bad in a different way than other movies are bad.
I guess. Sure. I guess.
I don't know if that makes it an appropriate bottle night movie. I think we still would come out of there like wanting to end it, but
yeah.
Is it like Cats bad?
No.
Okay.
Cats is a very fun movie.
We have 2 different definitions of fun.
I mean, Cats is a fun movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it
is a fun movie.
It's so bad.
But they're so horny and they're like
it's like kind of hard to pay attention to. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Maybe for you.
For
you get the buttholes on screen.
Yeah. All this to say, I'm disappointed that movies suck ass now. That's what I'm like mad about.
But we got to go see Joker. We got to go see
fine.
Joker. Joker 2. It's time for Joker 2. The frustrating part of the movie is like a bunch of the choices made are good and both of the actors are really good. It's just they're trapped in this dog ass movie.
Yeah.
All right. You ready for the posts?
All right. Yeah. Let's do some Reddit. Surely that will make me feel better about the current state of movies.
Yep. Okay. This first one comes from Am I the Asshole? It's 5 hours old. Fresh. And it has one edit on it. The edit is edit. I needed to bold a sentence.
Which so, I can't see on here. It just looks.
I imagine what this means is everyone was like skipping over it and just like wildly misinterpreting the post. So I'm excited to do that too.
Sure.
All right. Am I the asshole for following my late sister's wishes and kicking our brother out of her funeral?
Okay. Wait a second. Am I the asshole for following my late? Okay. All right. I got it.
Right.
It's in my head now. All right.
Okay, so this one's fun because it kind of dovetails with the discussion we had last week where I was like, please do some messy bitch drama at my funeral. This is the consequence of that. Yes. All right. My sister passed away recently after a long illness, and before she died, she made very clear instructions regarding her funeral. She specifically did not want our brother, John, to attend or receive any ashes. To provide some context, growing up, my sister was not kind to John. John was also not great. They fought like cats and dogs. As an adult, she sought therapy, recognized the damage, and tried to make amends. She apologized multiple times and reached out, but John refused to reconcile. He was clear he didn't want a relationship with her. When she became ill, my sister made one final attempt to reconnect, asking John to visit her. He declined, saying he had no interest in repairing the relationship, even if she was dying. This hurt her, and she made clear that if he didn't want to see her while she was alive, she didn't want him at the funeral or receiving any part of her remains. In her view, if he couldn't show up for her in life, he had no right to be there in death. John did show up to the funeral uninvited. Our uncle gave him the date and time. In line with my sister's wishes, I asked him to leave. He became angry, caused a scene, accused me of being cruel, and preventing him from saying goodbye. Several family members have since criticized my decision, saying I should have let him stay for closure. Funerals are for the living, but I pointed out that this was her last wish. He thinks I'm a huge jerk, and I'm refusing to give him anything of hers still. The family is split. Outside opinion.
I chose this one initially because I was like, I don't know. It's a scenario I feel like I've never put myself into.
Right.
So I was curious to see if you guys had some good input.
I'm going to ask you guys maybe a potentially esoteric kind of question.
Oh, okay.
What are your opinions on the concept of a dying wish? Like,
that's such a good question.
Right. Like
I think a lot of people use it to get like a genie wish. To be like, here's the shit I would have never have gotten. Now I'm dying. Let me do it. And you know what? let me back up a little further and start this from the top. I think that a lot of people upon hearing this are going to immediately be like, how selfish of John, how could he do this? But I don't know, because think about it from John's perspective, right? It is clear growing up that the sister was really bad to John. Now, it's not spelled out here, but just let your mind wander as to what being bad to someone could mean. It could be that they fought and bickered like all siblings do. It could be that she like caused him a pain from which he could not recover. Right?
Yeah.
You know, it could be she ran over his dog. You know, it could be she caused one of his friends to die. She could have hurt him in a bunch of really disgusting, debilitating ways.
Yeah. Who knows?
And then he made it very clear multiple times he did not want to reconcile with her. I find it good that she went to therapy and was interested in like mutually forgiving him and starting a relationship. But if he was being victimized by her, it is not his job to make peace with the person who is victimizing him.
Correct.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't personally read this as like John was being ridiculous and like wouldn't like live and let live. We don't know what she did to him.
Right.
And I think he's well within his rights. Yeah, I think how many times on the show have we been like, it's okay to go no contact with your family? I think he's well within his rights to be like, I don't want to see you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Sure.
When the person dies, certainly, even if you feel a victimization on their part, I don't know. I could very easily see a scenario where you also feel conflicted and want to pay respects in a way that, you know, it gives you some sort of closure.
I get that. That's where I was like, oh, but I get it. You know, like
that's the thing. Like it is very, I completely empathize with every possible scenario that John is going through. Like no matter what happened, John in this situation feels that going to his sister's funeral is a sort of closure. Not like a vindictive closure, but like, even though she was bad to me in some way, even though we had a terrible relationship, visiting her at her funeral is a sense of peace I am bringing to myself, right? That is the way I am taking him visiting her funeral. You know what I mean? And I think that is good to do. I think that's everything about John's perspective, I think is completely fine. I don't think he's in the wrong. However, I still want to bring it back to this concept of a dying wish because for whatever reason, she also feels that their relationship was so sour that maybe he doesn't deserve to have that moment. You know, maybe I don't know. I could postulate and speculate as much as I can, but I'm trying to figure out if it is her right to make that a dying wish and if it is his right to ignore that dying wish.
Let me switch the perspectives here.
Sure.
Let me move things around. Let's shift the thought of the dying wish from the person who passed away and instead shift it to this individual.
I'm glad you did this.
Who is following the wish.
Yes.
Right? Like, I think that 100% this is much more about this person who loves their sister. And you asked about, what do you guys think about dying wishes? And I thought a lot about, like, what would I do if someone close to me passed away and they said, before I pass away, please follow these instructions for my funeral, and I love them to death, I probably would be like, yeah, I will do it. And to dishonor that is not like, you know, they've passed away. There's nothing they can do about it, right? But it's for you. It is 100% for you, your closure, your kind of needs for kind of this situation. And I don't know if I can really blame this person for following the wishes, regardless of if the sister is right or wrong. Right. Because like, I do think we could sit here and argue about how like, John is, I don't even blame John for coming. Maybe this is his reconciliation. Like maybe he thinks it's okay and he's trying to forgive and like, but after she passed away and he finally realized it, but like to the alive sister's head, she's like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to honor my sister's wishes. This is what she would want. And I'm going to like, I don't care. I will always honor that. Right. And like, that is something that I just absolutely understand, vibe with, empathize with. It's in line with something probably I would do similar.
Yeah, no, that's, I'm glad you pulled me out of the weeds because we do have to remember what the real question is here is another good way to phrase this is like, if you received a dying wish from someone, much like this poster did, what is your duty to follow through with it? Like how
that ties back exactly to what you asked. Do you honor these kinds of wishes? And now I can kind of answer you and say, yeah, I probably would.
Yeah.
I think it can be special, and I think it can be a good form of maybe closure, maybe just kind of acceptance. I don't know. I would understand.
Yeah. What about you, Joseph? I'm curious. If you were in this situation,
it can depend, but
what would you do? Like, you had you don't have a sister. You just have one sibling, right, Joseph?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say, I don't know, your brother's dying wish is that your mom doesn't attend the funeral. Like I don't know. I'm just.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Me personally, I'm letting my mom attend the funeral, but that's because I
guess the mom is a bit.
It's hard to say that, right? Because you have your own,
that's the thing. Is like I don't know what these people did to each other, and for me, it's kind of frustrating to hear like, yeah, the sister was willing to forgive him, but she also did not want him coming to the funeral if he wasn't going to forgive her in life. And like, I don't know, like, shit, did you really forgive him or not? I don't know, right?
But does that
matter? Like, we're not talking about the sister though. This is the other sister. Like, do you say, yeah, like dishonor her wishes and let John in? Because then you have to kind of break your own values, right? You're like asking someone to betray their own beliefs and their own kind of like internal trust. Because that's all it is, right? You can say that.
The result of what happens here is you just go, whatever, and you let John go to the funeral, and then the family remains. Or you withhold your value, like you mentioned, of upholding this dying wish, and now you're in the situation that you're in right now, where the family is split. But if you don't withhold the dying wish, I could imagine feeling a lot of guilt that the express thing that the now late sister has wished of you, like, I would feel guilty about that probably. Like, do I really know what's best? Do I care what's best? Like, she explicitly told me that her last wish was to not have him attend the funeral. What do I do? I don't know. This is really difficult. I try to think about myself in this position. It is so hard.
It's rough.
Yeah, here's what I will say. I think that I do not hold the same respect for like dying wishes that you two do.
Probably. That's probably fair.
I think that the people who are telling her that funerals are for the living are correct. I think that that for this guy, maybe this is the last chance that he will have to memorialize this person that he had a really rough relationship with. And again, I don't know what she did, but I can imagine about 40 or 50 things where you could not bring yourself to face a person. But
I do want to stress he was also bad to her.
I know, yes, it says he was bad to her as well, but I could see a scenario in which you could have a relationship where you are unwilling to face this person, but you do still hold at least some semblance of like a wish to sort of see them off.
Right. Yeah. I don't even know if the thing is like, that's why I started off this with that question, is because I don't know how I feel about dying wishes,
Yeah.
It could also very well be that if I knew the family would be still held together by allowing John to attend the funeral, even though my sister explicitly asked me to not let him do this, I might choose to go with my knowledge and avoid the conflict rather than trusting my sister's dying wish. I might make that decision like, I know best here. It is better to have him attend.
It's true.
It's I don't know. It really. I'm trying to find like the through line here, like the bullseye.
Okay, let me ask this: is this guy entitled to come to the funeral, regardless of her wishes?
What do you mean by that?
So, like, does he have the right to go no matter what people say? If everyone was like, "No, we can't let John attend because he sucks," right? Like,
That's a
I'm
really
asking, like, does he have the right to go regardless of the wishes?
That is a good question,
right? Because, like, again, the funeral is for the living, so the living chooses who gets to go, right?
Yeah.
Well, yes, but I don't interpret that as being like, well, it's for the living, and that means this party is pretty exclusive. So, well, maybe not.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, like,
I get what you're saying, Joseph, but like, if we flip the script a little bit and, maybe the family, because the family has the opinion that he should have the right to go. If all the family was aligned with the dying sister and said that he shouldn't be allowed to go, would he have the express right to see her off, regardless of the rest of the family?
Again, this is where I feel like I need more information. Because if the family
I
was universally on her side, then it would make me think that whatever happened that caused them to go no contact was his fault. But the fact that they're split makes me think that people understood they had a rocky and complicated relationship, and some of them are like, you should still be afforded the chance to say goodbye, even if you feel you can't face the person in life. It's hard. This is a hard one. Holy moly.
Honestly, I'm going to be honest. My answer to you, Danny, is if we flip the script, I mean, I'm asking that question, right? Yep. I don't ask that question as a disagreement. I think if the script was flipped, he still would have the right to go. I mean, it depends on like how awful.
What do you mean by that?
Like if all the family was like, he is not allowed to be here.
Sure.
Well, do I believe that?
This is a really hard one.
Sorry.
No, it's really good though. Like,
well, I didn't think it would be that hard because I felt like, okay, to spoilers on the comments a bit, everyone in Reddit loves to just be like, you're not the asshole. Good job. You did it. And there's no, you're not allowed to
big fucking surprise,
someone.
Man.
Yeah, I know. The Reddit comments tend to be, are you the legal executor? Like, if so, then you did nothing wrong. And I'm like, well, yes, on all technicalities, of course. Like, he's not allowed to be there. And that's duh.
Is it in her will?
I guess. The instructions after she died, does that count?
I mean, if it's in her will and you're the executor, you are going to have to do it. I mean, that's probate, baby. But I think we're asking a more moral question.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to remain in that realm of morality rather than like, because the law says this. Like, I don't care. Like, we don't. That's not what the post says. I'm assuming that's not what's happening. But
right. And I think a lot of people in the comments also just tend to side on the I would want to honor the person I love's wishes, which makes sense. That's I feel a pretty default position to have.
I agree with that. I also am falling within that default position, but I also am, that position is fighting as a family member, do you have the inherent right to see them off one last time? And honestly,
I hate to be like this. I think you kind of do.
I think you kind of do too. With the asterisk that if you really abuse this person throughout their life, and there are very many definitions of what that type of abuse could be, and I don't want to speculate on that, but if you were truly awful to this person, then maybe sure, no, you don't get to, I think it would be a disrespect to them if you came to their funeral. But, you mentioned it, Joseph, because this family seems pretty divided on if the correct action was taken here. I don't know. God, I have to just align myself with my moral compass on this one.
Yeah. You guys ready to vote?
Yeah, let's
do it.
I guess
so.
Decision time.
All right. I imagine Jordan's going to be the split, so we'll just start like this. Danny, when it comes to the evil woman who wants to kick her grieving brother out of the funeral, do you think she's being the asshole by denying him entry?
It's hard. I don't think this has an easy answer. I'd say I would understand both sides and be a centrist and just be like, both sides make sense.
Yeah.
But I think I still have to kind of stick to kind of what I would do. And oh man, now I don't even know. I actually don't know what I would do in this scenario. I think that people tend to kind of, for me personally, push me to do what they want, specifically the family members saying that, oh, why didn't you just let him there? And just so there's no scene. And why didn't you just do this? And instead of, and it's hard to have kind of that courage to say, well, I know it sucks, but she asked me this and I love her a lot and I want to respect that choice of hers.
Danny, do you want me to go first? I can do this.
Go first.
I made up my mind. I do not think this poster was the asshole, because with many situations like this, I am very 50-50, just like you said, Danny. The point of centrism here is extremely understandable, because I do think there is a good argument for both sides. However, I have to lean on my own personal empathy of, what would I do in this situation? And if a person gave me a dying wish, I would feel very guilty for the rest of my life if I ignored that dying wish.
Me too.
I just know that it was like, and I don't want to say that I have this superstition about dying wishes or whatever. Someone put a very important mission upon me. And if I completely understand from this poster's perspective how she would potentially feel very guilty if she did not follow through with this wish. She would feel like she disrespected the memory of her sister. I completely empathize with that. Whether I fully agree with it or not, I at least empathize with her. And that for me is enough to say that she's not the asshole.
I am of the same opinion. I think she's not the asshole.
Well, shit, I think she is the asshole.
I think that's fair.
Well,
I think
that makes sense.
completely, like, that's the thing with this, is I also think that you are kind of right.
Yeah.
But I just lean a little bit the other way. And that
I mean, I understand you're like, she's going to feel as if she's, denigrated the memory of her sister by failing to honor her last wish. But I think she is in present denigrating the personhood of her brother by not allowing him to pay his respects. She's fucking over one of these siblings one way or another.
Yeah,
and
that
I
sucks.
think that, for that reason, I think it's upsetting to hear that, like, I think the situation would be massively clarified if we knew anything about the reason that they went no contact.
Yeah.
right.
But I think that it's at least complicated enough that people are coming down on opposite sides of it. I think that it means that likely it's something the brother felt he couldn't say in life but feels comfortable doing in death, and denying him the opportunity to even attend the funeral is, I understand why she did it. I think it's super defensible, but I also do think that she is the asshole.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good points all around.
I get it.
No, that one was crazy.
Yeah,
All right.
that was a
I didn't
good one.
expect it to be that crazy.
That one has me very introspective right now, so I'll be thinking about that one for a
Dude,
while.
you asked a good question. I was like, wow, I don't know.
I know I am going to get railed on discord.com and stuff by people being like, and I do want to say, you said that Reddit is all not the asshole. If you scroll down, there are a lot of people who are saying you are.
That's good.
I'm actually happy to hear
I just
that.
see, like, it's
There's
just
pretty significant disagreement. This is
I
a
don't
hard
know.
one.
I don't know.
It's nice to have a
you
hard
say
one every
that,
so
but
often.
on the post, like, the most flooded at the top and all the way kind of down until you get to the nitty gritty is not the asshole. Like,
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, Redditors.
That's how algo works. It's whatever.
well, yeah, but like, it's mostly not the asshole. I'm like looking at them all.
Okay, you're right. Reddit agrees with you.
No, I'm not saying
but
I want
there
them
are
to.
people.
It's just, I don't know. That's why I was like paused on it. I was like, am I off base? Like,
No, I speculate that there are going to be a lot of very good discussions about this one in the comment section on youtube.com. So feel free and be nice to each other on this one, please.
be nice to each
to me.
other.
Be nice to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you disagree with me, you're not allowed to be like, how could Joseph be so stupid? My life is so hard and I can't wait to die and prevent someone from coming to my funeral.
I'm
all right?
so mad. I'm going to eat this lunchly.
Fuck my stupid chunkus
Whoa,
life.
let's not do anything crazy.
Yeah.
The council has spoken.
This next one is also crazy. This comes from AITAH. AITAH for completely cutting my wife off from our finances because she wouldn't stop ordering takeout. This was written by
It's written by
Daniel
Mariah.
Guadalupe. What the fuck is
Mariah wrote this
Oh,
one because I keep
no.
ordering $60 worth of Panda Express.
Okay,
you
you don't
actually?
understand.
Wait.
Okay.
Run that back.
So-
Run that
Okay,
back.
I have two questions for you. One, why? Two, how? How do you order $60 worth of food at Panda
$60?
Express? They'll
Okay,
feed
okay.
you the panda for $60.
No, so I have a little ritual, okay? So every once in a
Oh,
while, every once in a while,
American rituals, buying fast
buying
food.
fast food. I know. So Mariah will help out her family, her parents, like at her house and stuff, which is sweet. You know, she has some horses there that she goes to, ride and everything, and I think it's great. And I stay
Oh,
home
wow.
and take care of the house. But it's my little ritual once in a while where she does this, and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna Grubhub a bunch of Panda Express, and I eat it all by myself.
Well, my wife
You're
tends
so
to the
awesome,
horses. I
dude.
purchase fast food.
Yes.
I will say, I want to talk shit on you. I do the same thing with Domino's.
That's what I'm
sometimes,
saying. Yes.
Sometimes Jillian isn't here, and I'm like, she's like, I'm eating elsewhere, and I'm like, oh, then I have to find food for myself, and oh no, I don't have any in the house. Although
The
Domino's,
Domino's
is open.
button looks pretty
No,
tasty.
so this is the-
Oh no.
Do you want to hear my Panda Express order when I do this?
Yes.
Yeah, hit me up.
Okay, it is the biggest plate, which is 2 sides and 3 entrees, right? Or
Oh
no,
my God.
it's something like that. Yeah, it's 2 sides, 3 entrees.
I'm going on the Panda Express menu right now.
They call it the Fat American.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait,
so it's-
wait, they actually do. Are you talking about the bigger plate?
Oh, the bigger plate. That's right, because it's the full plate, bigger plate. That's right. So it's the bigger plate.
Big old boar.
So
I'm
it's
shocked
the
you
bigger
don't
plate.
order the 5-person family meal.
That's a thing. Okay, anyway,
looking at
look.
the menu right now.
So it's that, and I get 2 orders of chow mein, 2 orders of honey walnut shrimp, and the super greens because I got to, it's got to be healthy, right? You need vegetables.
Of course.
Yeah.
You're eating a
And then
Panda
I get-
Express.
I get a separate large side order of more chow mein plus crab rangoon plus egg rolls. And I eat it all in one sitting by myself.
So, like, I just don't understand how you're living. Like, you've got to be, like, made of sodium, right?
No, to give myself some credit, I don't do this very often.
Do you, like, wake up the day after hungover?
These are for the special days. These are for me days.
These are me days. Like, this is, but the thing is, like, I finished this and I'm, like, comfortably full. Like, it's no big deal.
You're a machine,
You're
dude.
hungry, man. You're hungry.
Yeah.
You're a machine that turns the 400% daily value of sodium into a balanced breakfast. All right, okay, let's get this fucking shit going.
I knew this post would rock.
I'm 41 years old and male. Okay, I thought it was going to be like teenagers. My wife is 39. My wife doesn't work due to a minor disability. It's not as if she can't work, but she complains of discomfort and exhaustion all the time. The discussion over her working has ended about 5 years ago, and I've given up on the prospect of her ever having a job again. Seeing as she doesn't come close to qualifying for disability and brings in no income, we currently live entirely off my salary. Oh boy. All right.
Oh, man. This is gonna...
yeah.
This is a situation that, like, when it's the preface to a story, you're like, oh, God. Okay. Because you know what's happening is the husband is like, my wife doesn't work, but I make the money. And that means every cent she spends, he's like immediately suspect of. You know what I mean?
It's
Sure,
which sucks. Yeah.
It's not a great situation.
I did not mind financially supporting her, but my wife's spending habits have become more and more reckless. It began with her ordering takeout twice a week. Death penalty. Twice a week? I can't believe that. Oh my God.
That's a lot of money too. Oh.
Then it escalated into 3 times a week, and now she is ordering takeout every day. This is despite our fridge being stocked constantly. I do shopping. I keep our freezer full of things she would only have to microwave. Okay, what the fuck is she doing? First off. Okay.
She's just like kind of laying in her bed, like, oh, I'm so hungry.
Last month was a particularly heavy one for her. She spent, oh boy, $1,176 on delivery apps alone.
Yes. Yeah, that's insane.
She spent a little less than, but a mortgage payment.
That's rent.
That's rent. That is rent.
Wow. Okay.
For one person. We cannot afford this. There were several days that she ordered twice. I may have reacted harshly, but on Friday, I pulled money out of our savings, completely paid off the card, and then I canceled it. I removed all the money from our joint account and funneled it into my own. My wife learned this when she tried to order takeout. She tried to call the company who explained the card had been canceled. She texted me asking what happened. I responded she was cut off. When I walked in the door that evening, my wife was lying on the floor, dramatically saying she had low blood sugar. I told her she can eat the food we have in our fridge or freezer, and noticed that she took the garbage out, probably for the first time in a decade. I can only assume she was disposing of the evidence of what she ate, as she was pretending to not have eaten, but I honestly don't care enough to dig through the garbage to find it. She was furious at me all weekend. Was what I did over the top.
I love Reddit is the only place you will get a story like this, and at the end they'll be like, "Did I overreact? Did I do too much?"
Am I allowed to do this one?
Sure.
You can start.
You can do whatever you want, man.
Okay, first up, I consider myself a Grubhub power user. Now, before you all get mad at me, understand that I have a condition called streamer syndrome.
Thank you. I was gonna say streameritis, but that works too.
As a result, I have to order apps
Podcastitis.
because I'm otherwise useless. But $11.76 for one person. I mean, not only is that wildly irresponsible, you're just not using the apps right, baby. Like, what the fuck is your problem? If you're ordering for one person, order enough food for 2 or 3 meals, because where they get you isn't the purchase price, it's the delivery fee. So they only have to come out to you once. 2 to 3 meals, one, I don't know what you're doing. You're just not using it correctly. You should be cut off for that reason.
True.
Importantly, I think we all probably understand that what the wife is doing sucks. You shouldn't be spending this much money on food while you have food in your house that you would just have to microwave. Everyone deserves a little bit of a treat, but multiple times per day, every day is a little ridiculous. Let's move past that.
Yes.
Instead, I want to
we're
focus
jumping right to
on this question, which is, was what I did over the top? Now, keep in mind, what this guy did wasn't confront his wife about the spending, tell her she has to order out less, make clear to her that he's not going to tolerate excessive spending with his money, that he's made enough food for her, that she is free to order out a couple of times a week if she wants, just not every night. Instead, he called up his bank and canceled his card to own her.
Yeah.
So that she would have to spend like a couple hours on the phone with Grubhub customer support being like, why isn't my card working? Now,
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I know that Reddit loves its big displays of epic ownership. And I know that what she does in response, where she's like, I haven't been able to eat, is so dramatic that I almost want to just be like, she deserves anything that's happening at this point. But personally, you're going to go through all these, again, Rube Goldberg-ass decisions in order to avoid telling your partner your behavior is upsetting me.
This thing that I hate about the whole Reddit epic ownerage shit is it is a form of no. Let me finish. Sorry. It is. I hate saying this word because it's so, but it is a form of beta ass conflict avoidance bullshit. I'm sorry.
It is beta shit.
It is
It
beta
is literally
shit. Like,
envisioning yourself as the guy in the second panel of the comic going, beat it, chick, with a button on that says CEO. It's the only, it is a mentality that you will have to break yourself of.
Yes, you have to fucking talk to the person instead. Like, well, I've owned you. I was able to control the finances. Now you must cook food in the fridge. Man, fuck you. Like, I'm sorry. Again, I get where we could have a whole other discussion about, yes, she's in the wrong. And yes, if the roles were reversed and the genders were swapped or whatever, I would have the same opinion. Like, yes, it is ridiculous that one person that is currently staying home is not taking that extra time to adopt some more responsibilities around the house, one of them being cooking. Like, I fully hold that opinion, okay? But that's not what's going on here. The thing that I give a shit about is what he did, and that is crazy to me. Like, that is so crazy.
Okay. Let me play devil's advocate for a little bit, okay?
That's fine.
Like, this is extreme, right? You got to put extremes at the top. I understand, yes, in a normal scenario, you would talk to your significant other, of course, and he should do that. But, like, if you see $1,000 on your card and, like, you pause it because you're the breadwinner, like, do you actually blame him for pausing the card?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, listen, if I saw $1,000 on my card, I would call up my bank and I would say, you know what, make it $2,000. Because that'll just encourage me to grind harder.
True. Wait, hold up. Now you're talking. I don't know. Okay. I'm trying to play devil's advocate a bit and be like, I think that I get what you're saying. And I think that communication should be number one. And doing the kind of epic ownage is bad. But like, I didn't get that he was trying to epically own her in this. I understand that. Maybe I read it more as I got so fed up that I did a thing that I think was just, I got upset. So I cut off the card because she can't help herself. And not because he's trying to own her, just because he's just like, I knew this was going to happen. I cut off the card because you can't stop.
But even in that situation, right? Let's look at the steps. Okay. Mm-hmm. Look at the steps. There has been, from what we're reading in this post, I have to take this post at face value. There has been no ladders or step ladder system at all. Like, okay, she orders once a week and then twice a week and then 3 times and now every day. Like, okay, where are you talking to your partner about this in this progression of this getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse? Why do you not bring this up as a problem beforehand? You know, like,
I agree.
Why you just let it get to the point that it is where you have to take emergency action? I'm making quotation marks on my fingers.
And again, I do want to highlight, you're right. This is an extreme thing.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think every extreme thing requires an extreme reaction.
No, I'm not saying it requires it. It just, I'm just playing, counter.
I understand. But what I'm saying is, like, again, the solution to this one is, I think, is just being like, hey, like, you can even end up in the same position. You can be like, what you're doing now is not sustainable. And if you continue to do it, then I will not pay for it. Right? Like, yeah. That seems pretty similar.
Do we not consider, I guess the text is obviously not enough, right? Like that he says, like, listen, you're cut off.
No. He does that after he has already fucked it up.
Well, right.
Like,
So she
Instead,
asks,
I
like,
mean-
what's going on? And he texts her, he's like, hey, you're cut off.
Yeah,
Which I guess is not
that's
enough,
a crazy
right?
thing too. I think
is what we're
That's
saying.
insane, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Okay.
that's not warning at all. It's not being like, hey, what you're doing is upsetting to me. I'm not going to be able to financially support you. It's literally being like, well, you think you're so smart ordering food? Well, now you can't order shit.
It's literally like, you have no money now. Like, that's what he's done. He's saying like, oh, you have no money now. This money that you thought you had, now I just took it away from you. You have no money now. And it's like, whether or not that's justified, first of all, I don't know. It reads to me as, I'm not going to, abusive is a hard word to throw around, but it's scary to take the money that, even, yes, she was spending irresponsibly, all this stuff, but it's still like, oh, I control the money. I'm the breadwinner. You have no money now. Like, it's still weird to do that. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think is very scary. I absolutely agree.
Yes.
I just didn't think.
No.
I'm aligned with you two. I just was like, let me try and poke and prod a bit.
And the thing is, I'm glad that you did, because it really solidifies my point here, which is the non-beta ass fucking loser shit to do here would have been having a, you notice that this becomes a problem and you see the trend that it's starting to get worse. You go, honey, we can't do this. Like, genuinely, we cannot afford it. It is not in the budget. You can't, like, there's food in the fridge.
Yeah.
If you want help cooking, like, I will help you cook, whatever we have to do. You can't spend $1,200.
It harkens back to kind of what Joseph says a lot. And I guess what we all say when we see these posts is like, do either of you like each other? Like,
Yeah, this one is particularly annoying because from the get, he is talking about his wife like she fucking sucks. Like, he's like, oh, she says she has a minor disability and I've just given up on her ever working again. And it's like, okay, I get it,
dude.
This is your wife. This is not a ward of the state or something. This is.
That is such a good point. Like, even before the progression of the ordering food, he already was developing an animosity even before this.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And I understand, like, from the get being like, well, one person makes all the money. It's really easy to over scrutinize how the other person spends your money because you're not spending it. But instead of doing that, he's just like, nope, my intrusive thoughts were right. She really is a thieving bitch. And it's like, no, dude, like, if you hate this woman, if you think she is trying to get one up over on you, which she may be, that's a lot of money, you gotta go. Like, don't come to us to ask if your epic, like, Reddit own worked. Leave. Like, I don't know why everyone thinks they have to be like some fucking main character from a movie when they're leaving a relationship that doesn't work for them. We don't need to know about it. Go.
Yeah. It's just, I just hate shit like this. I hate shit like this so much. Like, yes, at some point you have to voice that you are starting to get fed up. I'm going to talk about, you know what? I'm going to harken back to an old one. Remember the jars?
I remember the jars.
Oh, I remember the jar.
This whole time, she keeps telling him over and over again. She does the right thing, where it's over and over again. Stop tightening the jars, stop tightening the jars, stop tightening the jars. She is being confrontational, doing the proper thing, healthily confrontational, sometimes not because they scream about it or argue or whatever, but like,
right.
You bring up like, hey, this is a problem for me. This is a problem for me. And then fucking week after month after year, if it's still being a problem, you get like, I've clearly what I've said means nothing. I can't do this shit anymore. Right. Like, and that is the correct thing to do. And it almost, it's weird to say this, but it like justifies you taking an extreme action or leaving, but he doesn't do that. He just goes, oh, wow, I'm getting really pissed and I'm still getting really pissed and I'm still getting really pissed. Boy, I wish somebody would do something about it. I wish my wife would stop. Well, nobody's telling her this. And all of a sudden I'm robbing her of all her money. Like, fuck this guy. The more I'm talking about it, I'm getting more mad.
Do you want to vote on this one?
Yeah.
I think that to top it off, I think this is one of those posts where you really like on first read want to kind of be there and be like, oh, that person's crazy. And like, while yes, the actions are pretty funny and insane, you almost miss the forest for the trees.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, like, yeah, I don't love this scenario either,
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Decision time.
When it comes to this man who really epically owned his wife, do we think he's the asshole? 3, 2, 1.
Yes. Yes.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, I am also cheating a little and scrolling to the comments. Almost everyone is like, oh, you're not the asshole, got her. But there's a couple of people that are like, listen, you're not the asshole for protecting your money, but you are the asshole for not telling her anything.
Exactly.
What's your problem?
I think that's like kind of where we all can land on, like, sure, like we get, you need to save money and then that was not cool of her, but you're a pretty big asshole for not talking to her. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Jen, like seriously, this pisses me off so much when I read stories about dudes doing this or people doing this in general, but especially with men. It's like if your partner is doing something that's frustrating you, just talk to them about it. Give them a chance to make it right. If you don't give them a chance to make it right and then you blow up about it, man, fuck you. How are they supposed to know? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
But wait.
This is a 10-day-old post, and the reason we're doing it today is because there is an update that is 16 hours old. All right. This says, update. I cut my wife off from our finances because she wouldn't stop ordering takeout. All right, here's the update. 9 days ago, I made a post about how my unemployed wife had spent $1,100 on delivery apps in just a month. This is egregiously outside of what we can afford to spend on takeout. Don't like that word there. Pick a different one. This is an egregious amount of money. It is egregiously outside. Is egregiously, can that even be an adverb?
Okay.
Fuck
oh
off.
my God.
I'm already just mad at this guy.
Oh my God.
And since she didn't seem willing to stop, I canceled our credit card and moved the money from our joint account to my own. This guy's fate was sealed as soon as he messed with the joint account.
True.
Yeah.
For the following few days, my wife kept talking about how I was financially abusing her.
You kind of
Annoying,
are.
but also kind of correct.
Yes,
She
you
threw
are.
several tantrums despite apparently being severely malnourished, threatened divorce, threw a bunch of food we had in the fridge away to try and strong-arm me into letting her get takeout, and even tried to guess my bank account's password a bunch of times. Sorry, my password isn't Taco Bell 123.
I fucking
Shut up.
hate this guy. Oh my God.
Shut up.
Okay. Is Panda Express that good though?
Yes. Anyway.
The last one was how I learned if you try to guess someone's bank account password enough times, the bank will send them an email. Last Friday, the complaints and threats stopped. She seemed mostly back to normal. I figured she'd given up. Today was garbage day. When I took the last bag out before taking the bin down to the curb, I discovered half a dozen fast food bags and takeout containers thrown in. My wife wasn't supposed to have access to money. I had no idea how she was affording the food. I confronted her about it, and first she denied everything. I had to bring in the garbage to get her to fess up. She had taken out a payday loan.
Oh.
Before you ask, no, I have no idea how she was approved. I froze my credit. I drove her to the payday loan place. I paid off the loan in cash, and I will now have to dip further into my savings to pay rent. I suppose in a certain way, cutting her off was successful. She didn't even order any takeout anymore. She just drove to the restaurants to pick up food for the low price of $20 for every 100 she borrowed or 60 in fees. In addition, I told her we would be getting divorced. So yeah, my marriage is over. I don't even know what alimony laws in my state are like, but I assume she'll happily live in a cardboard box under a bridge if Uber Eats will bring her food there.
The only good decision this guy made so far is divorce.
The thing is, like,
I hate to be like this. This woman has a food addiction.
Yeah.
If you love this person and you made a vow during a marriage ceremony to help her, this is the highs and lows. This is the thick and thin. Like, she has a problem that you need to be able to assist her with, not be like, glad that fatty's out of my life, am I right? And I love that the solution to this one is we got a divorce. Yeah, obviously. You should have done that frame one instead of doing a fucking bit. You didn't have to live the parent trap. You didn't have to announce to Reddit you were getting divorced. Just had to go. It didn't have to be our problem.
It sucks because this post comes off, and I bet so many commenters are going to be like, wow, you were totally justified. Look at what she got a payday. Like, yes, it sucks that she got a payday loan. She's an addict, basically. She's acting like one.
Yeah,
of
I mean,
these.
you don't get a payday loan if you're just like conveniently ordering fast food.
No,
right?
it feels, the more I read on it, the more I'm like, whoa, this feels like, I don't know. It feels like an addiction almost.
But there is a strong possibility that none of this shit would have happened if you would have just confronted her in the first place about this problem. Like, it is not normal to spend so much money on delivery apps all the time. I know I was just talking about fucking Panda Express, but I gotta say, this is like a once in a 2-month thing that happens. This is not a 5 times a week thing. Like, that is just not normal. And the fact that it was a problem that was starting and you didn't talk about it is just so shitty. Like, oh my God. Anyway, whatever.
Okay. But we're assuming that he didn't talk to her, right?
I mean, he didn't say that he did. You know,
Right.
If we want to make the assumption that he brings this up as an issue and confronts her about the finances over and over and over and over and over again, and it still becomes a problem, then, like, God, even then, is it still a good thing to just, like, cut off the finances for, I mean, I don't know. That's a different conversation, I guess. But
yeah, I get what you're saying. Clearly, this guy, like, hates her and is being very remorseful, very kind of, like, almost like kind of frighteningly mean to this person, which like is scary to watch.
I don't know. If you get to the point where you're doing financial abuse to your partner, it probably is a better idea to divorce them instead. I'll put my stone in that hat.
Yeah.
All right, it doesn't matter. This shit is fake and made up for Reddit.
Yeah, so true.
Lazy fat person claims she's disabled and orders Grubhub. This is just Reddit shit.
The council has spoken.
This third one is a day old, and this one fucking whips ass.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Jordan has just read the title.
title.
Am I the asshole for telling my daughter she actually has to do things to get celebrated? This is no. Fuck them kids. I have a 16-year-old daughter, Caddy, and a 14-year-old Jake. Jake is an achiever. He's involved in sports, does great in school, won an award for community volunteering. We've been celebrating his achievements, usually with a dinner out. Caddy, on the other hand, doesn't do much. She hasn't been putting effort into anything lately. She goes to school and then exists in the house. She spends her free time on her phone or watching TV. She doesn't have hobbies or interests outside of her friend group. She doesn't put effort into schoolwork. This results in her not getting celebrations outside of her birthday. We stopped forcing her to do sports or other clubs when she hit high school. Caddy came to me and says she feels like it's unfair we celebrate Jake, and I decided to have a conversation with her. I sat her down and explained we love her just as much, but if she wants to be celebrated, you gotta put an effort into something. Try to find something she's passionate about, or maybe work harder at school. You should make your own goals to work towards. I thought I was being honest but gentle. Caddy did not take it well. She exploded, accusing me of playing favorites and said it was unfair Jake gets all the attention because he's always doing things. She even lashed out at Jake, telling him he was the golden child and she was tired of hearing how great he was. Jake was hurt by her outburst and now things are awkward between them. Caddy has been avoiding both me and her brother since then, staying in her room or giving us the silent treatment. My husband thinks I could have phrased it better, but I believe this was an important reality check for her. If she isn't doing anything, then there isn't really anything to celebrate. Edit for everyone claiming I never talk with or am around my daughter. We went apple picking this weekend with her father. I'm spending every day teaching her how to drive. We went shopping and had a spa day earlier this month. Her father is teaching her how to change tires and how to work the basics of a car. We've been doing stuff like this every weekend for months. Me and her watch a show every Thursday with her. That's just this month, comma, and then I guess the Reddit filter kicked in.
I just love that she has to be like, ugh, do I really have to explain that I'm close with my daughter?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. I am of two minds about this. The first is like, this is a hard thing to tell a kid, which is...
Yes,
it is.
So
It is.
Don't
hard.
worry. The reason we're not celebrating you is because you suck. Like,
Man, you don't do shit. Oh God, you're so boring.
and it sucks to be like, well, you could always try harder in school, especially because kids who struggle in school don't like to be told they should be trying harder in
Yes.
school.
Oh, it's the
you know,
worst.
for some kids, A's just come exceptionally easily, and for some kids, they don't. I was one of the ones for whom they came exceptionally easily, and it always felt unfair to me because I was like, I'm really not putting in very much effort, but I am getting accolades that others aren't.
Yeah.
So I do think that she is justified in feeling like that.
Yeah.
However, I also think it's really important, especially as kids who have an infinite font of energy, to be involved in extracurriculars,
Yes.
in their community, in their, like, it doesn't have to be a church, but things like church. And
Just
I will say
anything
pretty
they
much
like.
every one of those that I ever did, they were handing out accolades all the time for anything.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't even have to be particularly good at some of the shit that I did in high school to get attention. So I don't know. I think this is a hard position for the mom to be in, to be like, well, yeah, we don't celebrate you often, but you also don't have hobbies. So
Yeah.
She put the edit in of like, we do things with her. Like,
Yeah.
we spoil her. We enjoy time with her. We love her. So, like,
Yeah.
don't act like we don't. Like, just because we celebrate our son's accomplishments doesn't mean we just, don't talk to her at all.
It's so hard because I actually was talking with like a coworker about this. Is so interesting that this came up. This post is not written by them. Don't worry. But they were having this discussion. It was like, we're having a really hard time as parents because what do you do when your child doesn't know what to do? And that's like really difficult. But at the end of the day, like as a child growing up, and like 16 is young, but they definitely have a lot of agency at 16 years old. What are you, a sophomore in high school, I think, or whatever?
Yeah,
Maybe junior?
around then.
You have the opportunity to develop interests, and you should be doing that on your own as well. And I'm sorry, like scrolling TikTok or Instagram reels, like that's not a hobby, like there's community involvement you could at least try to, or like talk to your parents about interests, or it's hard because I'm armchair parenting or speculating on parenting, but I don't know, like eventually your child is gonna have to figure out what they want to do on their own, right? They're gonna have to figure out something that they want to do.
this is the hard thing here, because they're saying throughout the post, they're like, okay, we stopped making our daughter go to stuff, right?
Yeah, which I think is right.
But at the same time, a 16-year-old isn't going to be able to find like volunteering opportunities on their own. So to some degree, I do feel like
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know about that.
but sort of. I mean, to some degree, I feel like it is the parents' responsibility to kind of strong arm the kids into doing stuff. And it's clear that they're doing it with the 14-year-old, but the 16-year-old, they're just like, oh, she just comes home and watches TV. Like, I understand she's 16, and I understand if she goes to college, she's about to be out of your life forever. But don't let her do that, right? Like, I know easier said than done. But I don't know. It just seems strange to me that the conversation is half, she doesn't really have any hobbies and she doesn't do any clubs or anything like that. And the other half is like, but we spend time with her, okay?
Well, that's not true, because the parent does say, I suggested she try to find something that she's passionate about, or, okay, the work harder in school thing does suck, but that she make her own goals to work towards. Like, that is huge. I think you
are
as a parent
way overestimating the capacity of a 16-year-old to do this type of stuff.
Okay, sure, maybe I am.
Not to get on my fucking soapbox here, but I think this is a situation where rather than like a lot of people in the comments are suggesting therapy, which like maybe the kid might be depressed. You come home and scroll for 6 hours. You can't be normal.
Yeah.
But I think this is a situation where actually the oft maligned guidance counselor may be really helpful.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Because, you're right. I am putting a lot of agency into somebody that's 16 years old. And, it is something that is hated a lot when, as a kid, you are forced to do something. You feel that you're forced to do something. But if you're not forced to do something and you're spending all day not doing anything, like maybe it's right that the parent forces you to do something,
The daughter wants to be recognized and given similar attention as Jake. And Jake does a lot of shit, right? He does sports, he does community volunteering, and it would require a kind of shift on how they celebrate those kinds of things. And I don't know. It's odd. I don't know.
Here's what I'll say. Is it wrong to have this conversation with your child in the first place? Right? Like, is it wrong to be like, no. Then I feel like this is something that would naturally be said as a part of this conversation. Like, let's figure out how you can do things to get celebrated.
Like, we would love to celebrate you, honey. Let's think of stuff that, we can celebrate over. What do you like to do?
Find joy in doing? Yeah, exactly. There you go. Boom, right there. Like, it makes sense that the daughter reacted this way too.
Right.
But this feels like a natural step in solving this problem.
I think that honestly, it's good that the kid's like outbursting and upset because there's an issue and she doesn't really know how to express it, right?
Yeah.
She's almost kind of like self-deriding because like she knows she's mad at Jake because he's just so good, and if he wasn't, then it wouldn't matter, right? And she could just live her life and enjoy TV and iPhones. But because her brother is so kind of celebrated, it makes her feel kind of small, right? And it makes sense. And there's probably a subconscious of her being like, well, yeah, all I do is watch TV or I'm on my phone. Like, I don't really do much else. So, it upsets you. And it's hard to express that as a 16-year-old. So obviously what you're going to do is lash out and you're going to be like, well, you just love Jake more. And it's like, okay. Like, no, that's
not true.
It's not true. We would just love to see you do anything outside. Extracurriculars. I think that while I don't agree with forcing the kid to do something, I do think that maybe politely kind of, or trying to really edge them to do something, because in a positive, empathetic way. And because as soon as you force them, everything's out, right? The celebration sucks. There's no reason for it. The kid will hate you.
Oh, I don't think that's true at all.
I'm just saying that, like, I don't like personally at 16, like, forcing your kid to do something. I personally hated it. I think many kids hate when their parents force them to do shit. Right. I knew many kids who were forced to do like violin and shit. They hated every second of it. Obviously it's not the case for every kid, but I think that you just got to be delicate in the way you approach it, but you're doing it anyway. Like, you got to be on my level here. You're kind of forcing your kid but you're doing it in the right way that makes them feel like it's their choice.
And
right?
this is exactly what I was going to lead when I almost interrupted you. It is now that this has happened, what you do now is you make this a consistent topic of conversation.
Yeah.
We are now in a phase where, you have expressed that you want to be celebrated like your brother is, right? But right now you haven't found something to, I guess, earn that celebration, which sounds, I don't know, but like, you have not figured out what you want. You have not figured out what brings you joy. So let's do that together. Let's make it a consistent thing. That is the phase we're in as the parent-child relationship, is we are going to work together to figure out what you can do that brings you joy outside of watching TV and going to school. Well, obviously going to school doesn't bring you joy, but you get what I mean, right?
Yeah, I think that I get you.
You're in the phase now where you work together with your child on what they find joy in life at this current moment.
All right, we want to vote on this one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Decision time.
When it comes to this maligned woman who just told her daughter an unfair truth of this world, Jordan, is she the asshole?
Nope, I don't think so. I mentioned it before, but this is a very natural step in a bumpy road of, your daughter is just in a phase where she's trying to find herself, and she's frustrated that she doesn't receive the same celebrations and accolades, but that's just, she's got to figure out what she wants to do. And now the next thing you do as a parent is work together with her to find that.
Danny?
Yeah, I agree. There could be maybe an argument to say that you could phrase this better and be more gentle, but I agree. I don't think you're an asshole for opening up this conversation and being like, I'd like to celebrate you more. Jake does XYZ, but we want to celebrate you too. So what can we do so that you can get celebrated too? And I think opening that up sucks. And I think you should expect that your kid's not going to take it super well. And you should follow up IMO and say, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. I want to celebrate you. I want to love you, or we want to show our love in our own ways. And how can we do this so that you feel celebrated? And let's work together. I think it can be something like that. But I don't think you're an asshole. It can feel sucky. It can feel like, man, maybe I shouldn't have just said anything. But no, I think this is good, regardless of how maybe mean you might have felt saying it.
I agree. That's a 3-0.
3-0.
The council has spoken.
All right, well,
All right.
3 tough ones today. You guys
Wow.
got some closing thoughts?
Just opening up Grubhub right now. Got to figure.
2032, step 1 on the bigger plate. What are you ordering? I'm getting the chow mein, the original orange chicken, and of course, sesame chicken breast.
God, that honestly, if I could just order 7 orders of chow mein, I would do it. You know what, actually? Maybe.
Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
Grubhub.
What's up, YouTube? I'm here doing the chow mein challenge.
So we had to kick Peeps off the podcast. He spent $11,000 from our Patreon money on Chinese food.
All right, okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.